Hi, I'm Zach Cowan, the author of the Study Daily books, and thanks for joining me for a study of Doctrine and Covenants, section 38. This is part 1. The Lord has asked the saints to move from New York and Pennsylvania and to move all the way up to Ohio, to gather together and to be together. This can be really tough. And so at the very first conference, or shortly after a conference at the church, here's a revelation, just a little bit more reminder of why we're going to do things. So when the Lord asks us to do things, or when we're asked to do difficult things, it's sometimes really helpful to be reminded on who's asking us to do it. So go ahead, pause your video, and go study Doctrine and Covenants, section 38, verses 1 through 7, and look for how the Lord introduces himself and reminds the saints of who it is that's asking them to move. See you in a moment. Thanks for studying. These are some of the best verses in the Doctrine and Covenants to really have Jesus Christ introduce himself and who he is and what he's done for us. And to go through then and to look at all of these reasons and a reminder. In my life, I have found it personally helpful that anytime I'm asked to do something difficult by the Lord, to remember that it's him. It's the same God that asked Moses and Abraham and that created the earth to do things. And that he asked me to do things because it's good for me. Notice verses 5 and 6. Look what keeps people in misery and what gets them released from that. What is the reason why people ever end up being miserable? Those are fascinating verses. And then in verse 7, which part of this do you find most comforting? When he says this, behold, verily, verily, I say unto you, that my eyes are upon you. I am in your midst, and you cannot see me. But he is there. He is in our midst. He is around us. This is a God that is surrounded and carried up in our issues. All right, let's give you another question, because he says, all right, let me expand this and give you a few more reasons of why I'm asking you to move. So pause your video again, check out section 38, verses 8 through 16, and find your favorite reason why the Lord invites the saints to move to Ohio. Hey, welcome back and thanks for studying. I just want to point out a couple of things. I love verse 10. In verse 10, the Lord tells the saints two things. He tells them, one, you're not totally clean. And two, I'm well pleased with you. That's really hard to do, to get away with both telling people, look, you're not what I want you to be. And also, I am super pleased with who and how you are behaving. So what areas of our life do we need to have debris or to be more clean in? What areas of life would God like us to do a little scrubbing with the atonement? And at the same time, let's really think and maybe even write down. And if we ponder this question, even pray about it and ask God, what areas of my life are you pleased with? He likes to say that too. Sometimes we focus so much on what we're not doing and what we're failing at that we fail to realize that God just as much wants to tell us where we're doing really good and pat us on the back and encourage us and say, that a boy, that a girl, way to go on this. I promise that as you take that question to the Lord and say, Heavenly Father, what am I doing that you're pleased with? You're doing something that he is pleased with and that he rejoices in. Finally, look at verse 16. His reason for all that he does is to provide salvation for us. That's why he wants us to move. That's why he asks us to read scriptures and say prayers and keep word of wisdom and pay tithing and all the rest. Is because it produces salvation. It causes us to become something different. When God asks us to do difficult things, let's remember who it is that's asking us to do it. Our Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ. Everything we know about him, they are asking us to do things. And it makes difficult things easier because they are trying to save us. All right, we'll see you next time as we do part 2 of section 38.